We'll see. 48 hours. We'll get on the field Wednesday. I did a walkthrough today. Everything was positive, but we'll take those guys day to day starting on Wednesday.
Did they participate in the walkthrough?
They did, but again, walkthrough is pretty easy to participate in, so I wouldn't read too much into that, and we'll get to Wednesday and see where it's at.
Did the soreness for Joe Burrow subside? How sore is he still?
I didn't ask him how sore he was. Sometimes I don't ask those questions. I don't want answers to.
You guys reportedly made some moves today in terms of bringing people in for workouts. There's a report out that you signed a running back. Do you have any confirmation of that?
I don't know if I can confirm it at 3:13.
How did
Maybe.
BKL come out of Thursday night physically?
Yeah, it's still sore, I believe. So again, we'll get through the week with him and see where he ends up.
What do you feel like is missing from your quarterback room right now? What do you feel like you would like them to be doing better as a whole?
From the quarterback room?
Corners.
Corners.
Yes.
Consistency. I think that's the biggest thing. That's how I felt last week, and that's how I feel today. Just consistency from snap to snap.
Does Josh Newton have a chance to see more playing time?
I think we continue to try to work in young guys as best we can, and when they earn playing time and where it fits the defense and offense, we're certainly open to the possibility of anybody helping us that can. And Josh has been a hard worker. I like his energy. I like how his approach, and young player, and so we'll just continue to work with him and see how it plays out.
Is it hard to have consistency in that room when you guys are working so many different guys in and rotating?
No, I mean, we're just trying to do what's best to get stops and put our defense in the best position. So, again, sometimes that's leaving guys out there for long periods of time. Sometimes it's getting people in different packages so they feel comfortable and can take advantage of the opportunity.
We talk about consistency from the DBs. What does that entail? Is that just snap to snap? Is it pros?
Taking the air out of the coverage, when you're just in a one-on-one, making it more contested, making it more difficult. So, again, just being dependable down in, down out. There's some really good snaps from that room, and then there's some, like every position we got in this team, where it's got to be better. I think when you're 4 and 6, you ask about the corner room, but really I think you're talking about every position room. There's things out there we just got to be better, as a position group, as a unit, and obviously that flows into the team.
How much has the lack of pass rush, consistent pass rush, impacted the defensive end?
I think that's certainly gotten better. You look at Lamar; he's extended. How many times do we have him right in our clutches, and he's able to get out of it? And that's playing a guy that's a 2-time MVP and does all the things he does. So I certainly think that over the last couple of weeks, the pass rush has gotten better, and overall, those things have improved. And we just got in a tough spot in some of the plays last week against Baltimore.
Would you say that's significantly improved in the middle of the defensive line, where you're getting more pressure there? You know what you have in trade.
It's hard for me to quantify it, but I do think it's gotten better, as these last couple of games have progressed.
Kind of looking at this, the way the AFC is kind of unscrambling after yesterday. Do you go back, look at notes from maybe like a year like 21, had a bye, went out to Vegas, and was
Yeah.
kind of facing a similar team? I don't know if you look back at that.
Yeah, it's probably a similar situation, at this point in the year, making a West Coast trip versus a team that's playing good football right now, and so it's a good test for us. We're in situations now where these games are getting more critical by the week. We got 7 more, but this is a big one. It's just kind of a one-game stand right now, and then we got the bye week after that. So certainly, like we do every week, turn all of our attention at the Chargers, and told our guys to get rested up this past weekend and be ready to work this week. And I like the energy we felt so far today on Monday.
The bye week's a big time for self-scouting. Did you guys get a jump on that at all this weekend with the mini-bye, or is that
Just started focusing on the Chargers, and then next week. We really self-scout every week, now with the way that, we got to access the analytics and all the people on our staff. We try not to let a week go by where we're not really reflective on what have we done the last 4 or 5 games that teams are seeing. And so I think we got a good staff that does a good job identifying all that stuff, making us aware of it early in the week. And so there were years where you spent the whole bye week because that was the only time you got a chance to actually comb through the tape. But now I feel like we do a much better job of week to week integrating all those tendencies into our plan.
Is there anybody in particular who's really helped facilitate that process over the last couple of years that maybe?
Well, Sam Francis is the best with the data, and then we got quality controls that siphon through it as well. Pitch is great at it. Guys on defense do it as well. So it's something that we're all aware of and try our best to cover it up.
When you look at the year that Trey Hendricks is having, what's been probably the biggest thing that people probably don't give enough credit for as to why he's been so successful, especially this season?
how much work he puts into it. I think those are the behind-the-scenes things that people don't realize. He's in here every day. I mean, every opportunity he gets to use the weight room and be in there, and all the body work he does in the training room, and he works as hard as any player in this league. And so it's not a surprise when you see your best players put in the work 365 days a year, day in and day out in the season, and then they go out there and they're able to do the things that they do. It's not shocking that he's maximized every bit of potential he's got in his body because of the way he works and the way he prepares. And so again, it's not surprising that he puts himself with these opportunities.
What kind of examples is that for you got some of the young guys?
Yeah, it doesn't seem complex. It's look at these guys who have played at a high level and done it and experienced it, and everyone's different. Everyone's got their different process, so you don't just want to emulate somebody else if that's not what makes sense to you. But certainly makes sense to me sometimes.
You guys have taken a lot of pride in the way you tackle, especially the secondary players. Guys in the defensive backfield have tackled the last couple of years. How would you evaluate the way you have tackled both in the secondary and overall?
Well, I think there's been moments where we've done a great job against the run, and then some times where guys get away on you and you miss some tackles. So I think overall for the year, probably more missed tackles than we're comfortable with. I know that for a fact. But, I think we've gotten better against the run these last couple weeks and do our best to minimize that.
When you're making additions from outside the building this time of year, what's the biggest thing you're looking for that you're hoping to get from those guys?
Guys that you can envision a role for, if it's an active roster spot, certainly somebody that can come in and fits a role for you, and you feel like you can find a way to hit the ground running with them, and they can add something down the stretch here. If it's a practice squad, a guy you want to continue to work with and develop, and have a vision for long term. So sometimes it can depend on the position, how deep you are, and kind of what's available on the wire. But you want to have a short-term or long-term vision for the guys you're bringing at this point in the year.
Understanding that losing can take a toll, losing close games can take a toll as well. How is morale inside?
It's good. I mean, I think everybody still sees the potential in our season, and losing a close game, it's a punch in the gut for sure. One that you think you got a chance to win, and it slips away from you. But at the same time, we know we got a good football team, and everyone believes that. And different guys, different places have been in these situations before, and there's evidence where you can pull out of it and still have a tremendous season. And so that's what our focus is right now, is focus on the Chargers to point ourselves in that direction to have a tremendous season.
Do you have to coach morale? Do you have to coach positivity, or do people check that?
No, I think, that's a position by position thing. That's something we talk a lot with the coaching staff is make sure your room is heading in the right direction. And that's the leadership that you talk to as well with those players in that room to make sure you're pulling it along, and then that affects the entirety of the team. And so, again, that hasn't been an issue that I've seen.
Have you had any memorable Jim Harbaugh exchanges or interactions over the years?
I went to my first ever NFL game. I think it was '92 Bears Steelers, and I got to go to a Saturday walkthrough, and I have a picture with Jim Harbaugh, me, Press Taylor, and Jim Harbaugh. 92, 93. I'm not sure which year it was. It was Steelers at Bears, Bubby Brister versus Jim Harbaugh. So I'm sure I think they retired Mike Singletary's jersey at the game. I think. Very shaky memory as a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, freezing. I remember just being, "Why are we here?" I think was a question I posed quite a bit. So Jim wouldn't know that, but again, that was the first ever NFL practice and game I ever went to.
Why were you there?
My dad coached at Kansas State with a guy who was the strength coach at the Bears at the time, and so I think just my parents took me and my brother on a trip. We went to a Bulls game. We went to a Bears game. I don't know how long we were there. We stayed with Coach Reeder and his family, and his son's now on Cali's staff down in Tennessee. But, yeah, so we stayed with them, and he took us to a Saturday. It had to have been a Saturday walkthrough because I remember the fridge driving around in a golf cart throwing snowballs at people. And we got a picture with Mike Ditka and Jim Harbaugh, the two people we got pictures with.
When you look at what that Chargers team looks like on the gym, what kind of sticks out the most to you?
They're tough. They're a good football team. They're well-rounded at really every position. And they make things really hard for you. They do a good job controlling the clock on offense, and defensively they're stingy. They don't give up explosives. Obviously, they've given up 72 points on the year. They're number one in about most of the categories that you see. So it's a great test for us. I know guys are going to be really excited for the opportunity, and it'll be a tough road game for us.
Does the picture still exist?
Yeah.
Do you have it?
I don't know where it is. Yeah. All right, I'll continue the story. when I was in Miami, the picture showed up at my house autographed when I was with the Dolphins. And I remember calling my mom saying, why do I have an autographed Jim Harbaugh picture? Which I don't know if he actually autographed it or not. It might have been somebody at the 49ers. My grandfather thought that Jim Harbaugh needed to know that the two kids in the picture are now NFL coaches. And so he kept sending it to the 49ers and was getting no response. And I'm sure a secretary, somebody eventually just signed it and sent it back. And so it shows up on my doorstep in Miami. And I remember calling my mom, like, what are we doing? And she explained the whole situation, which I understood. My grandfather's very proud and felt like, Jim Harbaugh needed to know. Like he hadn't taken a million other pictures with other kids before. So the picture exists. I don't know where it is. It's probably my parents' house in Norman.
But when you get a picture like that someday, you'll go, oh, that's really cool.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Is Harbaugh ever get relayed this information or not?
No, I haven't. I've never interacted with him since that moment in person.
When you were evaluating quarterbacks in the 2020 draft, what were your thoughts on Justin Herbert?
Well, we had him at the Senior Bowl, so I was great person. Really picked up the offense fast. Not that it was very complicated at that point, but really impressive week with him. So again, no surprise to see him having the success and leading the team like he has. That is not surprising at all, based on everything you learned about him at Oregon, the way you interact with him over the week at the Senior Bowl. Again, really impressive player, and obviously having a tremendous career.
Why do you think that quarterback class as a whole has been so successful? And when you look at guys up and down that draft, you've got a lot of successful players. Why do you think that's been the case?
You got to remind me. I've been focused on Joe, Tua, Jalen.
Yep, those are the big four.
Yeah.
That's second deals.
I can't pinpoint that for you. It's obviously very talented, very driven players. Not that other classes haven't been. So it's hard for me to compare against the other ones.
What's Jordan Battle shown you in recent weeks?
Yeah, it continues to improve. And again, just maximizing the opportunity he's getting. And so again, I think he's heading in the right direction. Thank you.